Coping with COVID and In It Together SC present Wellness Wednesday, brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina and DHEC's Division of Diabetes and Heart Disease Management.
Coping with COVID with Trey Taylor.
Happy Wellness Wednesday. In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. How you doing? I'm Trey Taylor. It is Canine Fitness Month, and we're exploring the positive effects pets have on people. My former vet, Dr. Eddie Robinson with Midlands Veterinary Clinic, joins us. Hello there, Eddie. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, Trey. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And then Ken, Cheryl, and Prince Krupp join us. Hey there.
Hi.
Hey.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys so much. They're going to tell us about their pet relationship. We're talking about pets and people today on Wellness Wednesday. This and more coming up next. But first, your COVID community updates. You still have to wear a mask to travel. The CDC extended the ordinance for public transportation, which was set to end on April 18th. Now it will be through May 3rd. It is monitoring the uptick in COVID cases. And it's a big day in the city of Columbia as the USC women's basketball team is honored with a parade and festivities. Now, the fun begins at 6 o'clock tonight on Laurel Street. The parade will travel to the State House. And don't forget, beginning at 4 o'clock today, several streets downtown Columbia will shut down. Your best bet, police say, is to take Assembly to Elmwood. The celebration continues Sunday with a free concert from Gamecock alum Darius Rucker, only, though, for USC students. SCDHEC has your most up-to-date list of times, dates, and location for COVID testing in and around South Carolina and vaccinations. Visit scdhec.gov for more information. Also, scrolling at the bottom of the screen throughout the show, you will see information about several vaccine information, testing information. We also have financial resources, job opportunities, including where you can get your 5 free rapid COVID tests. You can log on to covidtests.gov. Now, if you already got your first 4 or 5, you can now order for additional tests. COVID vaccines are also being held at the VA. If you are a veteran, they're taking care of all veteran vaccinations and testing. Kroger pharmacies are among the retailers that are offering COVID vaccines. Check the screen for details. CVS is also offering vaccines at locations, including those in Target stores. And Walgreens is also offering COVID vaccines and free N95 masks. The Brooklyn Baptist Church COVID vaccine clinic is still open and available 7 days a week. You can see that information on the screen. And don't miss your shot. You can get a free ride to get your vaccine via the Comet bus system. Also, the Comet is offering vaccines at their main location at Sumter and Laurel Streets. Now, if you or someone you know is a little technologically challenged and having some problems making their appointment, you can get help at Get Set Up. You can see the information there where you can log on or call Get Set Up, and they'll get you set up. Also, if you lost a loved one due to COVID, FEMA is offering their COVID funeral reimbursement. That's still going on. Some other financial resources include SC Bar Association and SC Legal Services. They have a toll-free number and website for rental and mortgage help. Lexington County Bill Assistance Program still has some funding. SC Housing and Dominion Energy rental and utilities assistance. And if you or someone you know is having a challenge coping with COVID, SC Hopes has a 24-hour assistance line from the South Carolina Department of Mental Health. Now, the Brooklyn Lakeview Empowerment Center is holding registration for a free diabetes management class that begins in May. You can see that information on the screen, and you can call Dara Brown for more information there. And several jobs are available, including Spectrum is hiring about 350 people. And the City of Columbia has an open house every Wednesday from 8 until 11 a.m. at 2198 Colonial Drive. And then, of course, yesterday started the No Judge, No Jail event from the Fifth Circuit Solicitor's Office. That is happening through Thursday from 3 until 6 p.m. at the M.L. Smith Community Center on Farrow Road. If you have a unresolved warrant, please stop by there, and they will have folks available not to arrest you, but to help you take care of your unresolved issues. That's the No Judge, No Jail Bench Warrant Resolution Court happening today and tomorrow from 3 until 6 at the M.L. Smith Community Center on Farrow Road here in Columbia. Again, all of this information will be scrolling at the bottom of the screen throughout the show. So please post and share the information so we can get the message to the masses. You're watching Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Advisory Council from the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control, Health and Diabetes Management Department. And we are actually streaming live on the In It Together Facebook page. Please go over there, hit like and share and follow. Not only will you get notifications as to when we go live every Wednesday at 2 p.m., you'll also get all kinds of great updates about diabetes prevention programs, health and wellness and fitness. We're also streaming live on the In It Together website. So go over there and their YouTube page. So please go over there and you can watch past episodes of Wellness Wednesday from Coping with COVID. Now, we're also streaming live on the TaylorMade production page on Facebook. That's the home of Coping with COVID. I'll go over there to hit like and share and follow, get updates, information, and also on the YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button. There you can watch past episodes of Coping with COVID, which airs on Wednesday, and then Coping with Trey Taylor, which airs on Thursday and Friday. We also have a presence on Instagram and also on Twitter. Want to thank you so much for watching. If you have a question or a comment, please post it in the comment section. Mitchell Peace Joy Jen says, good afternoon. Hey there, Mitchell. Thank you so much for watching. Please post and share this information out so we can get the message to the masses because, listen, I'm a dog person and I've always had dogs. I grew up with dogs and I had 3 Shih Tzus that our guest took care of several years ago. I have babies now, so I don't have time for for pets, but it is Canine Fitness Month, and we're talking about pets and people and how they affect each other. Eddie Robinson, Dr. Eddie Robinson with Midlands Veterinary Clinic joins us. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Robinson. Been trying to get you on the show for a couple of years now. I thank you so much for working it out in your schedule. You're busy.
Yeah, try to stay busy. Thanks so much for having me. I look forward to being with you today.
Absolutely. So tell me, how do pets affect people? That's a general question, I know.
Yeah, and it's a very broad question, and we'll talk some about both the mental aspects and the physical aspects.
Yes.
Okay? Mentally, pets, it's been shown that people who own pets basically are in general more happy than the general population. They are more healthy than the general population, and they live longer than the general population.
That's interesting.
So one of the things I always talk to my clients about is from pets, you will get that unconditional love that you don't find anyplace else.
Yeah.
Particularly when we talk about dogs. Cats are a little different. They're not as glad to see you when you come around. But for a dog, if you've been gone, they don't care if you've been gone for 5 minutes or 5 days.
Right.
They're happy to see you. Okay.
Yeah.
They may not realize why you were gone, but they know that you were gone and you're back, and they just shower you with affection. I always tell my clients, I say, just imagine going away from home from your spouse, significant other for 5 days and they not knowing where you are. When you come back, I doubt if you're going to be greeted with a lot of affection.
That's right.
And hugs and things of that nature. Okay. So from a mental standpoint, I see particularly with my senior clients, that pet plays such an important role. Empty nesters, the kids have gone on now, and so they just basically love that pet, and that pet now is their child, and they tend to provide everything that pet needs. They treat it just like a child, and it gives them something to look forward to every day. They look forward to being with that pet, feeding that pet, watching the pet being active, things of that nature. And even themselves, which we'll get into later from a physical standpoint, senior citizens going out and walking, not just senior citizens, but anyone going out and walking with that pet.
Yeah.
From the mental standpoint, one of the things that we've seen during COVID is that, particularly during the initial parts of COVID when we had to self-isolate, people went out and got pets, and a lot of the shelters were at 0 pets because so many. I think I read last week where there were like 24 million pets adopted during that time. And now we're seeing that people are going back to work, and we're not having problems so much with the people, but the pets are now going through what we call separation anxiety, because they're used to mom and dad being home with them all day. And now mom and dad's back at work and they just don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we're seeing a lot of separation anxiety with those pets now too. Quickly, from the physical standpoint, it's just important, so important for us as humans to get out and move around. The more active we are, the better. And same thing, if we have our pets, we find that the more active that they are, the better also. Pets have some of the same maladies that humans have. If they're obese, then it's going to lead to other problems such as diabetes, such as premature arthritis, heart disease, liver disease, kidney disease, all those type things. So if we have pets, then we tend to be more active. We get them out, whether it's going to a place where they can play with other pets, or whether it's just walking on the street on a leash, just to get that exercise in.
Dr. Eddie Robinson joins us. He's with a Midlands veterinary practice here in Columbia, South Carolina. And you're watching Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council on Coping with COVID. I'm Trey Taylor. And, Dr. Robinson, you gave so much great information. I just want to kind of, in summary, so you say pet owners are generally more happy and healthy. And is it, and you mentioned, the unconditional love, the companionship. Is that pretty much the key to the happiness, at least, that they bring to a human?
Right. That's pretty much the key, that happiness, that loving spirit that you get from a pet, that many times we may not have, some of our friends may have been sick, or we may have moved on. The kids may have moved on. They might not be fortunate like you to have grandkids. So they need something. We need something to share our love with. Yeah. And that's where that pet comes in. Yes.
Now, you also mentioned different animals, different reactions. And of course, dogs probably are at the top of the list, right?
Yes.
Companionship as far as pets.
Right.
We all know cats are a little standoffish, but some people love cats.
Yeah, they love that. It's been shown that if you have a cat or a dog in your lap and you're basically grooming that pet, that pet, you're stroking that pet, that it drops your blood pressure level. So
wow.
That calming effect it has.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I want to get to that in just a minute, but I want to go back through the different types of animals.
Okay.
So, snake.
Well, snake wouldn't do much for me.
What if you're a snake person? But
there are a lot of people out there who like reptiles, who like snakes, and you will see them sometimes even walking around. Some of in my earlier days, when I wasn't quite as smart as I am right now, I did some reptile work. The largest pet I've ever worked on was a 14-foot Burmese python snake.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't do that today, but I was young and brave back those days. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a dog or cat. It can be ferret. And just watching fish.
Right.
In an aquarium has a calming effect. Right. So birds are good, and some birds are able to, like your parrots, are able to somewhat communicate. You can teach them to talk and say a few words, and that helps enhance the environment. You're not there alone.
Right. Let me ask you this. Now, do pets have this effect on all people, or do you have to be a pet person? Do you have to be an animal person?
I think that it's something you can acquire.
Right.
And I think most of the time, it varies, but I think most of the time we're not a pet person because really, you mentioned you grew up around dogs.
Yeah.
Okay? I grew up on my grandparents' farm, so I was always around animals, and that's what led to me being a veterinarian. But I think I have clients all the time who say, I never was into dogs or cats, but the kids wanted one, And so we got one, and now they love them. I think a lot of times it's just the lack of exposure.
Right.
And maybe something traumatic happened as a youngster. For instance, a friend of mine, he had a lab, which is a large dog. His son was 2. And he was playing with the dog, and the dog knocked him down and stood over him. The dog's playing. He's not being aggressive. He's playing, but his son didn't understand that. So for a long number of years, he had a phobia of large black dogs.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
a lot of it, I think most people, there's always possibilities. There are always, everybody's different. But I think for the most part, exposure to the right pet
Right.
will bring that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Eddie Robinson joins us from Midlands Veterinary Clinic. We are talking about pets and people, how pets affect people here on Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council. You mentioned this a little bit earlier, Dr. Robinson, that how pets are affected and have been affected, particularly, post-COVID, if we ever get fully post-COVID.
Right.
But, when people got back to work, and then people's pets were affected because they're like you said, separation anxiety. So I was going to ask, do people affect animals too? And I guess the answer is yes.
Yes, most definitely. That human animal bond. Over the years, I've been practicing since 1983, a long time, and I've seen that human animal bond change over time. So many of us were brought up with not having a pet inside.
Right.
If you had a dog, maybe they stayed outside all the time. But now, not only are those animals spending more time inside, in many cases, they're actually sleeping with the owners. In many cases, I had a client the other day that told me that her dog, she was looking at 3 different houses trying to decide which one she was going to buy. And her dog picked the house that she bought. So, they play a major role because her dog was going to have a room in that house.
Right.
So that the house that made him happiest is the house that she bought. So, yeah, they have humans have a huge role in that human animal bond there.
Does that then affect the person? If a dog, a cat, an animal, a pet is, you recognize as a human that this dog is vibing with me, for lack of a better word, or affected by what I'm doing and not doing, does that in turn have a positive or the negative effect on the person?
I think for the most part, it can have a positive effect. There is a line, though, and what I remind my clients of sometimes is remember that dogs are not humans. So sometimes we want to have anthropomorphism where we give dog human traits. Okay. No matter, and I know, your pets are your babies.
Yes.
Okay. But they're really not on the same level as human babies. Okay. And some part of the separation anxiety we have is because we treat them so much like humans until they become almost human. They expect that attention. It's just like humans. Some humans, the more attention you give them, the more affection you give them, the more they crave that. And we have the same things in some of our animals.
Yeah. K-Span Bird is watching. She said, hello, my sister became a cat lover. She was terrified of them, but became friends with an abandoned kitten. She said, first she allowed it in her garage, then in her basement, then the run of the house. She fell in love with the kitten so much, she wrote a book about the kitten. She said it really changed her life. And this was a person who was initially was not a cat lover.
Case in point, and on 2 things. One, it being exposed. The other, how things have changed over time. And now we are allowing our cats, our dogs to spend more time in the house and spending more time in that they are basically family members.
Yeah. Kay, thank you so much for watching. Please post and share this information out so we can get the message to the masses. All the animal lovers in the building, you know, I'm going to love this show. Eddie, you mentioned this a little bit earlier, and I definitely want to get back to this because this show is about the effects of comorbidities, diabetes, heart disease, blood pressure. And you mentioned that it has been proven that when you cuddle, pet, hold, caress a pet, your blood pressure goes down.
That's correct.
Is that something that is being diagnosed to, you know, to help people who may have high blood pressure?
I have not seen that being used clinically, but based upon the science, we know it works. So I would not be surprised that it's being used clinically with some people who have high blood pressure. I know a lot of therapy animals are being used in various situations for people who may have behavioral issues and things of that nature. So, but I'm not sure about, you know, therapeutically how that's being used in human medicine.
Yeah. What about diabetes or heart disease? Do you know anything about how pets affect people who may have those conditions also?
Heart disease, absolutely. It helps. Of course, if we're talking about having a pet, if it lowers the blood pressure, then of course it's going to help with your heart disease.
Yeah.
With diabetes, I would imagine with type 2 diabetes, having a pet will have you out and more active. Therefore, it will help your type 2 diabetes.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and I know we're going to talk to one of your patients and their parents about I guess we'll talk to the patient's parents about how you know, exercise and fitness has affected them in their lives. But I want to ask also about dogs versus cats. Is there a reason why cats are so standoffish and dogs are so loyal and cuddly and licky?
It's genetics. Cats are cats and dogs are dogs. As we say in veterinary medicine, cats are not small dogs.
Right, right.
Lots of the medications we use in dogs, we can't use in cats.
Oh, wow.
They are just different species. Felines in general are more independent than the canine structure. Actually, canines were the first animals domesticated, felines later on. But by that same token, because felines of their makeup, they tend not to be, you know, it's unusual. For instance, I've been practicing, like I said, since 1983. I've seen 2 cats that would walk on a leash. Okay? You just don't see that with cats.
Right, right.
Their genetics, it's their makeup.
Yeah, yeah. Dr. Eddie Robinson joins us from Midlands Veterinary Clinic and It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. I'm Trey Taylor. It's Canine Fitness Month, and we're talking about the correlation between pets and people and the effect that pets have on people. Eddie, before we take the break, I want to talk a little bit about death and losing a pet. You know, as you said, pets are definitely the family members, the loves. You know, people have a intimate relationship with their pets, and it affects us if we physically lose them, if the pet passes away, or if they are lost. I'll tell you, there was a big issue on social media last week. A local young lady lost her dog, and she was posting constantly, please, somebody help me find my dog. Please help me find my dog. I mean, she was saying, I can't take it. I have, you know, and, you know, there was a mass rush to, you know, to try to help her. Thank God she did find her animal, her pet. But tell me about, let's talk a little bit about that, how the effect that losing a pet has on a person.
Well, again, we go back to that human animal bond, and that we bond with our pets, and they're always happy to see us, and we always bond with them to various degrees. It really depends upon the individual. And I can understand, I can sympathize with someone losing their pet. It's like similar to losing your child. You want to know, you want to know if they're safe. You're concerned if they're out there and no one to care for them. Of course, if you always say to my clients, if you're around a pet 24/7 and you don't form some kind of attachment, some type of love to that pet over the years, then I wonder if there's not a problem with you. Okay, just being there, getting that unconditional love, and then not feeling you've had a cat or a dog for 5 years, 8 years, and all of a sudden it disappears. If you don't get upset, I wonder, Right. And real quickly, one of the things that one of the most difficult things for me is that euthanasia situation where the animal gets to that point and you have to make that decision as to whether to euthanize or not. And that's almost an entire show in and of itself.
Yeah.
But that client making that decision to say goodbye, when do you make that decision?
Right.
And what are the parameters you use to make that decision? And it's something that I see so many of my clients struggle with. Sometimes they keep the animal alive longer than it should be. When we talk about animals, we talk about quality of life. In humans, it's life, regardless of quality. In animals, we have the ability not to watch our loved one, that pet, suffer. And that's the thing I keep emphasizing with clients when we get to this point is, you don't want him to suffer. That's the last thing we want. Yeah. And the selfish part of us, we want to keep him forever. We never want to let him go. But sometimes the most humane thing you can do for that pet is to have it euthanized.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough call. I remember, and I know you see 1 million dogs and cats and everything daily, but I remember Chance, because I had Chance Kirby and Princess, and Chance was the father of the other 2 dogs. And he must have been 15 years old when he passed away. But I remember having that conversation with you. Is it time? That quality of life conversation. And it is tough because, it's just like with a person, you got to pull the plug, and you don't want that on you, that maybe a miracle could have happened. You know what I mean?
Right. But I always tell my clients, I say, quite frankly, I'd rather do it a day early than a day late. Yeah. Or a week early rather than a week late, because you don't want that animal to suffer.
Yeah. Dr. Eddie Robinson joins us. He is with Midlands Veterinary Clinic. We've been talking today about pets and people. It's Canine Fitness Month. And when we come back, we'll be joined by a couple who actually improved their health and their pets' health too during COVID. We'll be right back with more from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council. I'm Trey Taylor, and you're watching Wellness Wednesday on Coping with COVID.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Aiken-Cockrum. I was Miss America in 1994. As a result of that, I had to learn at a very early age that it's important to take care of my health, to get enough rest, to eat a balanced diet, and to get exercise. Those are principles that I still live by today. Take a moment to visit inittogethersc.org to take an online test to find out if you're at risk of prediabetes, and how to join a diabetes prevention program that takes the guesswork out of losing weight, eating better, and being more active. You can learn new ways to stay healthy and sustain those changes over time. When you join, you'll get support from a trained lifestyle coach to help you set and achieve realistic goals. Go to inittogethersc.org. Brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina.
The Comet gives me a reliable source of transportation.
It's very convenient to me, and they have wonderful drivers.
It's clean, and it builds community. It's fun to meet people.
It makes me feel like really independent. It's just fun.
It's always going to be there, and it gets me everywhere I need to go.
We try to ride every single day. Comedy is our livelihood.
Computers, they're a part of our everyday life, but when they're not working, they're an everyday problem. So call Computers Unique, your everyday solution. 803-351-5821. Is your computer running slow? Won't turn on? Do you need a screen replaced? Or maybe you just need another computer? Well, Computers Unique is your one-stop shop for all your computer needs. They have a wide variety of new and pre-owned PCs, Macs, and tablets. So call Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall, 803-351-5821. 803-351-5821.
Hey there, thanks for joining us again. I'm Trey Taylor, and you're watching Wellness Wednesday on In It Together from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Advisory Council on Coping with COVID. I'm Trey Taylor, and it is Canine Fitness Month. Hey, don't forget, we are streaming live on the In It Together Facebook page and their YouTube channel. Please go over there, hit like and share and follow. They've got tons of information about joining a diabetes prevention program if you or someone you know may be at risk of having diabetes. As Kimberly Aiken said, please take the diabetes risk assessment test and see if you are at risk. You don't have to do this alone. They've got some amazing programs, and some of them are virtual. You can connect with people. They can give you support. They can give you tips. You can even get products and food and all kinds of things. So please take an investment in your health and check out that In It Together Facebook page, website, and where we're streaming live on the YouTube channel. We're also streaming live on the TaylorMade production page on Facebook. That's the home of Coping with COVID. Please go over there, hit like and share and follow. Find out when we go live on Wednesday at 2 p.m. for Wellness Wednesday, and of course with Coping on Thursday and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also so many great resources about COVID and all types of things on that page. Also, we're streaming live on the YouTube channel too. We've been doing this show for 2 years in March, right after COVID hit. And so we've got so many resources and tons of programming. So on the YouTube channel, you can find past episodes of Coping with COVID and Coping with Trey Taylor. We're also streaming live on and have a presence on Instagram and also on Twitter. So listen, it is Canine Fitness Month, and we have been talking about pets and people and how they affect each other, actually. If you just joined us, please hit the replay button and check out the amazing information that Dr. Eddie Robinson with Midlands Veterinary Clinic shared with us on the physical, mental, and emotional effects, positive effects that pets have on people. One of the tidbits that he shared with us, which is amazing, is that it has been proven that caressing, petting, spending time with pets actually lower your blood pressure. So definitely check that out. Dr. Eddie Robinson joins us again from Midlands Veterinary Clinic, and we're also joined by his clients, Ken, Cheryl, and Prince, who has a brand new haircut just for today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. You guys have an interesting story about how your lives were changed during COVID because of Prince. Tell us a little bit about what happened.
Okay, so Prince is a 4-year-old Bichon, and he likes to eat a lot of stuff, so we can't just leave him out in the backyard and run. It just doesn't work. So we started walking him. We do about 3-4 walks a day. What did you say, about 3 miles?
Well, we do a minimum of like 6,000 steps, on upwards to 8, 10, even 12,000 steps. So that equates to about 3 to 5 miles a day.
So let me ask, did you guys get him during COVID?
No, we got him as a puppy.
Okay.
He was nine weeks old when we got him.
Right. He is 4 years old. So we got him prior to COVID. But walking him during the COVID times has just been, wonderful for all of us. It was a great activity during those times, and it's something that we've continued onward. It's really helped, I think, all of us a whole lot.
So let me ask you, what was your fitness, so to speak, regime with him prior to COVID?
Not as much. we did a couple walks, but we increased that because it's so nice to get out in the sunshine, get fresh air, listen to the birds. Plus, he's a very social dog, and he loves to go out. And dogs are like people. You need activity, and you need to change the scenery. So he loves his walks, and he thinks everybody out there is to see him.
we are blessed to live in a neighborhood that has a lot of walking trails, so it's been ideal.
And a vet.
Absolutely, no question about that. And we can really relate to a lot of what Dr. Reddy was speaking to earlier, for sure.
Yeah, I want to get your input in that. But first I want to say, okay, so COVID hit, you're stuck in the house, and you think, let's just walk more and obviously take Prince with us.
Right.
So at the height, how many times a day and how many miles, Ken, were you guys walking?
Well, we would do a brief walk in the morning, then we'd take another walk around lunchtime. In the afternoon, we take a short stretch, and in the evening we feed him and go for a long walk. And then we go again late in the evening, probably too late for my wife's liking. But we go out maybe 11:30 midnight for our last walk of the day. So we get in a lot of steps. And like I said, it's probably like at least 3 on upwards to 5 miles a day.
And did Prince seem as though he enjoyed the extra walking?
Yes, I want to say yes.
Yeah, I think he maybe a little too much. I'd like to have a little more pep in our step. He wants to stop about every 10 feet. So
yeah, stop and smell the roses, right?
It's also made us amateur meteorologists because of dodging the raindrops and whatnot on those types of days. Well, we have a half an hour window we can sneak in a walk. So
the other issue that we have with this poor little guy is he had bladder stones about a year and a half ago.
Oh, wow.
So we have to watch his urine stream. So walking him helps us to make sure that he gets enough water in, and we're making sure that he has going enough as well to make sure that he's healthy, as well as doing regular urine checks.
Right. We're talking to Ken and Cheryl Krupp with their beautiful puppy Prince. It's Canine Fitness Month, and we've been talking about pets and people. Dr. Eddie Robinson with Midlands Veterinary Clinic also joins us on Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Advisory Council. So, guys, when did you figure out that something was changing for the better for the three of you because of the amount of walking?
So we both are in the beginning of COVID, we all kind of ate a little bit too much. So we're like, okay, we got to stop this. So we started watching what we were eating. We both lost some weight, not a whole lot, but I'm going to say I can tell with my clothes, and I know Kenny can too, we've lost inches. So that's helped. Prince's muscles are stronger, and so I think it's helped him too.
He's a strong little guy.
Wow. So, Eddie, what were you thinking when every day, several times a day, and you weren't, well, I guess at first you were home, every day, several times a day, you see Cheryl and Ken and Prince walking up and down the street.
I always say I don't think anybody walks more in our community than they do. And what they didn't say is you can set your clock by the time when they walk. They have strict times that they're going to be walking, and really they have really, Prince has done great, but they have really just the physical level, their fitness level is just, you can look at them and see how much that walking is done. And I really think that Ken has underestimated how much they actually walk. You remember he started out talking about 2 or 3 times a day, but when we talked about the time frame, I think it was 5 times a day. And there are not a lot of people that get up or get out of the house at 11:30 p.m.
right
to walk their dog, and it's not. And he says that's a long walk. That's not a 5-minute walk. So, but I think just seeing them inspired me, because I wanted to doing COVID. My goal was to doing the self-sheltering. My goal was not to gain any weight. And, I thought it was going to be 2 weeks or 4 weeks.
Right.
So I started walking a little bit, and then that kind of waned a little bit. But regardless, I see them out there, and it actually serves as incentive for me.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So what are you guys doing now? So now that, I mean, we're still in COVID. I mean, you know, cases are still up. Some people are wearing masks, some people are not. But what have you guys done now? Post.
We're still doing the same thing. We kept our routine the same. I still wear a mask in, you know, stores and stuff because I'm just not 100%. So I think we're doing really well. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say I would echo that. I think we pretty much are doing what we have been doing. Err on the side of caution. I wore a mask when I took him into the groomers today.
Yeah. And you guys are still walking at least 5 times a day?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
He's used to it. If we don't stick to it, he starts barking and carrying on for us to take him out.
And I was going to ask that, Ken and Cheryl, how do you see, is Prince, has he been helping you like, hey, come on, it's time to, you know?
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
He's very vocal at times.
We have also experienced what Dr. Eddie was speaking about with the separation anxiety. He's so used to being around us that when we leave him, you know, we have those type of things as well.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, you know, a couple of your relationship with Prince as it pertains to relationship, you know, pets and people. And you mentioned that what Dr. Robinson said, you know, you were having several aha moments. So tell us about that. Why did you decide to get a dog in the first place?
Well, we've always had a dog, really. Sometimes we've had more than one at a time. And the companionship, the love and affection, I think it just enhances your life.
Yeah.
Is he more your dog than Cheryl's? I see he's in your arms more, Ken.
I guess he is. He tolerates me, though. He loves everybody, and he loves our grandchildren and our children. But yeah, he really does love Kenny. Kenny plays with him more than anybody when the kids are not here.
You can see how content he is. I mean, somebody watching this might think he's a stuffed animal. I mean, he's sitting, let everybody know he's alive and kicking. He's just sitting there.
One of those too.
He's just sitting there so quiet.
You're right.
He's barely. I've been watching him the whole show, and he's just like, has he moved? You know, I talked about how stroking that will decrease Ken's blood pressure, but obviously it works with Prince too.
Yeah,
he's just chilling.
Yeah, let me tell you, he's just kind of tired from getting a bath and everything today. But give him a couple hours and he'll be doing the Bichon Buzz. I don't know if you ever heard of that. But he just jumps down and then he goes in crazy eights and he goes wild.
He tears around the house.
And that lets you know he's really happy and ready to roll.
Right. Yeah, because he's had a traumatic day at the groomer. So I guess he's...
And it was scheduled, so it worked out really well.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So you guys are dog people. You've always had dogs. You've got a dog. You said that you've had multiple dogs. And can you see, and you said that, you know, you are a dog lover, but have either one of you had any medical conditions like, as we were saying, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and you've noticed a change because of either Prince or the animals that you've had?
I have high blood pressure. I definitely think I benefit from having this love and companionship. He is just a bouquet of kisses. So he's doing right now, as a matter of fact. I'm trying to stop. But it's most definitely helpful, without a doubt.
Have you ever thought about getting other pets, either more dogs or something other than a dog? Or are you strictly a dog person?
Well, we have had a cat in the past, and I had a bird when I was much younger, a child. I could foresee us getting possibly another cat at some point. You know, as we're getting older, it's I could see that happening.
Yeah. What you think, Cheryl?
I'm sure. I enjoy having pets. We would like to do some traveling, so I've got to fix. He likes to ride and stuff, and most of the time we take him with us. But we need to work on this separation anxiety a little bit now, since we have that. So we're going to do a little boarding here and there to get him ready for that. So we can do that. But yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. You mentioned the separation anxiety. What kind of behavior are you seeing in him and you?
Well, we have a couple dogs that bark in the neighborhood, and I don't know if he's learned it from them, but I've noticed that he's barking a lot more. So if Ken leaves the house and then he hears his car down the street, he'll start barking nonstop. I guess I'll have to put a camera to see if he's barking while we're gone, which hopefully not. But yeah, we'll have to work on that a little bit.
Yeah. How has it affected you guys separating from him, not being with him as much due to, COVID?
Well,
we're with them all the time.
Yeah,
I worked from home, and so that's what caused this. So Ken is retired, and I was working from home, so we were here all the time.
Yeah.
And Kim was able to have him while you were
right. So if I was
right.
working that day, he would be doing all the walking. So, he's always having his exercise, and we're having it as well.
What do you say to someone who is either not a pet person or considering having a pet? Your suggestion, your advice.
I would definitely encourage someone to have pets. There's just so much upside to it. There's not a whole lot of downside really, other than the responsibility, but that comes with the territory. I mean, pets are just wonderful. The love and affection, like Dr. Eddie spoke to, the unconditional love, it's real, and there's just so many benefits to it, health wise and other. But the companionship and the love and affection is I would encourage anyone to, find whatever type of pet they would help them.
Yeah.
Whatever fits in their lifestyle, what they would want to do. I highly encourage them for all those multitude of reasons, really.
Yeah, I hesitate to bring this up, but I want to mention it because Dr. Robinson and I mentioned it, the loss of a pet. How do you prepare for that? How do you prepare as much as you love Prince? And, I don't know if you've lost other animals. How do you prepare and move on from losing a pet?
It's very, very difficult. We went through that back about right before we lost Prince. We had two other Bichons, and we lost both of them in a very short span of time together, and it was a very difficult time. It's you form that bond, and it's really tough when that time comes. And we lost the one Dijon, boy Bichon, kind of unexpectedly. It happened kind of quickly, and the other one was Angie, and she lived almost 17.
Oh wow!
And that's the first time that we have ever had to have that euthanasia, conversation. First time we've ever had to do that. We've had pets all our lives, really. And it's the first time we had to cross that road, that bridge, and that was a very, very difficult time. Having to come to terms with that, you just realize at some point it's not about you, it's about the pet and the quality of life, and that's really what it comes down to.
Well, and they become part of your family, so it's like a family member.
Yes.
I was an oncology nurse for years, and no matter how well you plan for it, when it happens, you think you're prepared, but you're not always prepared. So, you can think in the back of your mind what you might do, but you're just going to have to support, the family has to get together, support each other, and work through it.
Yeah. I love that you all have you started walking in the last 2 years, and you actually see a change in your lives and your lifestyle and your clothing.
For sure.
But we need to go shopping and get some new clothes.
What a great reason to go shopping.
That's right.
Cheryl?
Yeah, it is a great reason. I just need to keep doing it so it keeps going.
That's right. Well, I'm so excited about you and Prince, the two of you and Prince, and how he has provided such love and affection and even physical fitness for both of you. And good luck to you. God bless. Dr. Robinson, in closing, what do you think about people and pets, just in general, in closing?
Just a couple things in closing. One is what they mentioned about traveling. Now, more and more of your top-end hotels are, quote, pet friendly.
Oh, that's
You're
good.
seeing a lot of, used to be top-end hotels wouldn't allow you to bring your pet.
Right.
Now they want you to bring your pet. Okay. So I think that's something people need to realize. And talking about separation anxiety, they talked about the signs they see with Prince, but it's he has mild separation anxiety compared to some of the other patients that I see. Some of the others get very destructive. They will tear up furniture. They will scratch the doors up trying to get out. Very aggressive behavior when the owners come back. So there's all different types of levels of separation anxiety, and we are seeing it more and more and more, and clients need to be aware of it. Something that takes place, and we're seeing it more frequently, and clients need to deal with it because it can be handled. And there's training exercises that can take place along with medication that can help that. So,
yeah, I was going to ask, is it treatable? Is that something they do need to come in to see?
Yeah, that's something that we're seeing more and more all the time. And that, don't put your dog to sleep because he's destructive when you leave the home.
Right.
I know sometimes it can get, he tears up your favorite pillow, or they do all kinds of stuff and they're trying to get your attention,
right,
to let you know that they miss you. And but that can be fixed between behavior and with medication also.
Yeah.
No different than anxiety in humans.
Yeah. And if people want more information, you can see Dr. Eddie Robinson's information. He is with Midlands Veterinary Clinic, and you can see his email and his website and his location right there on the screen. As he said, he has been practicing veterinary medicine since the 80s.
For a long time. Leave it at that.
So he is very well versed in veterinary medicine. Dr. Robinson, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for this wealth of information. It's really fascinating, the correlation between pets and people. And Cheryl and Ken and View Prince. Hey, Prince. Hey, Prince.
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you guys so much. Good luck to you. Good luck and God bless. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. God bless.
Appreciate you. Thank you. All right. So listen, if you have a story or initiative that can help someone cope with COVID or cope, please email booking@copingwithtreytaylor.com. If you have a product or service that can help someone cope with COVID or cope, please email copingwithtreytaylor@gmail.com. The information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We would love for you to be a proud sponsor, just like In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council. They present Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday here on Coping with COVID. Our other sponsors include Javis Financial Services, the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, the Fifth Circuit Solicitor's Office, Attorney Byron Gibson. Their No Justice, No Peace event is today and tomorrow. They have a warrant resolution court at the M.L. Smith Community Center. Please stop by. Also, Agape Counseling and Training Services, Black Pages Black Expo, May 20th and 21st with Kiera Kiki Sheard. And also Anthony Anderson at the Expo, and after 7 at the Taste. The Comet Bus System and Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. Now, coming up tomorrow, it is No Justice, No Peace with the Fifth Circuit Solicitor's Office. We're going to talk with the folks with the treatment court programs and find out exactly what they offer. And then more funding that's available for nonprofits. We shared some information from DOT last month. And tomorrow, the folks from the Sisters of Charity join us for more funding information about nonprofits. And then Friday, we're going to Midtown Market and talk with Lakeisha and Kevin Raspberry about their new bodega. That and so much more coming up on Coping with COVID. Before I leave, as always, I'll leave you with a inspirational reading. We've been reading this Conversations with God from Cheryl Mims Williams. And today it's a beautiful prayer that says, Father, I pray that as I begin this day and explore your world, as I come to know more about you and who you are, I receive a deeper understanding of your word. I desire to have a more sincere understanding of your word. I pray that your spirit will lead and guide me in all I do. This is Conversations with God from Cheryl Mims Williams with Agape Counseling and Training Services. It's a beautiful book of some of her scriptural readings and some of her journal entries, and it is available online. I'm Trey Taylor. Thank you again so much for joining us today on Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council. Don't forget to go to the In It Together Facebook page and the website. Don't forget to check out a diabetes prevention program. If you or someone you know has a diabetes or pre-diabetes, there are resources available to help you make it through, support, and so much more. So visit the In It Together website and the In It Together Facebook page to find out more information. Don't forget that the Brooklyn Lakeview Empowerment Center is also starting a diabetes prevention program. They are actually recruiting for that now for their program in May. You can see that information on the screen right there. And that is part of the DHEC, Department of Health and Environmental Control. They got a special grant to offer that in that area. So please don't forget to do that. Listen, I'm Trey Taylor. Thank you again so much for joining us for Wellness Wednesday from In It Together SC and the Diabetes Action Council. Until the next time, I wish you peace, abundant blessings. Take care. Stay well. God bless. Don't forget about the parade today. If you're in Columbia, stay away from downtown Columbia unless you want to go to the parade or get caught up in the traffic. And until the next time, please don't forget to wear your mask over your nose and under your chin. See you tomorrow.
Coping with COVID and In It Together SC present Wellness Wednesday, brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina and DHEC's Division of Diabetes and Heart Disease Management.
Coping with COVID with Trey Taylor.